Welcome back to TNLP, the newsletter podcast brought to you by the HazMat Guys. Timmy here, bringing you this week's top hazmat stories from around the U.S. Have you heard the biggest piece of news? The HazMat Guys have officially released their entire episode archive plus all premium bonus content to the general public. It's never too early to get little Johnny familiar with his periodic table. Check out all 540 episodes, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to pull up the in-show search feature if you're using Spotify. Kicking off our report this week, we start with 9 people injured after a wrong-way crash sparked a semi-truck fire, hazmat spill, and melted a traffic light in Canton Township, Michigan. Interim Police Chief Joseph Bialy of Canton Township described a violent crash involving a semi-truck and a passenger vehicle on Ford Road near I-275 that left 5 people injured and 4 officers hurt as they rescued victims from burning wreckage. The incident shut down Ford Road near I-275 in Wayne County on Wednesday, March 18th, around 1 p.m. The Michigan Department of Transportation also reported that both directions on the exit ramps from I-275 to Ford Road are closed. So, a little bit after 1 o'clock, Canton Dispatch received a 911 call of an injury accident that occurred here at Ford and Haggerty. Emergency response units responded quickly, rendering aid to 5 victims in the process. 4 officers and 5 victims were injured and taken to the hospital, and all are believed to be in stable but serious condition, said Bialy. Bialy said the department's early investigation indicated the passenger vehicle was traveling the wrong way southbound in northbound lanes when the truck turned, and a collision followed. So I will reiterate that this is still currently under investigation. But the information that we have at this time is that the passenger vehicle was traveling southbound at a high rate of speed in the northbound lanes. The truck was turning and causing a collision, Bialy said. He said fuel or another fluid from the truck spilled, ignited, and trapped occupants. Based upon that, the truck had some fluid that spilled on the ground, which then ignited, causing the passengers to be trapped inside the vehicles. Our responding officers quickly took action, going into the fire and removing all the occupants from the vehicles, Bialy said. Bialy praised Canton police and fire personnel who injured themselves while quickly entering the blaze to rescue people, and credited regional partners for helping contain the scene. Our women and men of the Canton Police Department absolutely acted with bravery and courage to make sure that they rendered aid to the citizens that were involved in this, and making sure that everybody was as safe as they could be, Bialy said. Investigators treated the scene as complex because of the hazardous material spill and the nearby gas stations, Bialy said. But he added that there is no ongoing danger to the public and that the spill has been contained. We had hazmat on the ground, and we have a gas station. And if you notice, the flames were so high that they melted the traffic control signals. And so they fought courageously to get these flames down. I give credit to our fire department and our regional partners that came to help us out to be able to navigate this. I do want to reiterate, though, that there is no danger to the public at this time, but the spill has been contained, and that right now we're just asking that everyone avoid the area as we do continue our investigation. Bialy said the early evidence points to a fuel cell on the truck as the likely source of the spill. We believe the source came from one of the fuel cells on the truck, Bialy said. On injuries, Bialy said 3 officers were treated at Metro Detroit hospitals for smoke inhalation as a precaution, and 1 officer sustained a burn after entering the flames to free occupants. And again, I'll reiterate, there are no life-threatening injuries. 3 of our 4 officers were taken to the hospital for precautionary measures for smoke inhalation. And one of our officers, one of the first ones to go into the flames to remove the victims, suffered burns, Bialy said. Bialy said the intersection would remain closed for several hours while hazmat crews and traffic signal repair teams worked with Wayne County to clear the scene. Our primary concern right now is making sure that we get all the hazmat cleaned up and that we again maintain safety for everybody, and the roadway will be clear to be able to travel. And then we've got to get the traffic lights worked on. So, we're working with Wayne County to be able to do that. I would anticipate this intersection will be closed for the next several hours. Andre Jasmine, a service technician at a local Midas shop near the crash site, said he first realized something was wrong when he heard a loud blast from outside the building. "I heard a loud noise, a loud pop, like a collision or a tire explosion," said Jasmine. Jasmine said he stepped outside and immediately saw smoke rising above nearby buildings in Canton Township. "I came outside and saw black smoke above the building," Jasmine said. "When I went to the corner, I could see a vehicle totally engulfed in flames." From his vantage point, Yasmin said visibility was limited, but the fire's intensity was clear. He later left for lunch and returned to find the crash scene still active, with emergency crews working in the area. "When I came back, I could see they hadn't gotten it cleaned up yet," Jasmine said. "It looked like a car had impacted the truck, like it hit it right in the fuel tank." The crash, which authorities said involved a semi-truck and a passenger vehicle, resulted in injuries, though Jasmine said he was told at the scene that those involved were conscious. "It looks like a bad accident," Jasmine said, "but I think one of the firemen told me everyone was talking at the scene." Authorities have said the crash led to a fire fueled by spilled material from the truck, complicating the response and requiring hazardous materials crews. Jasmine, who works just a short distance away from the intersection, said the incident was startling, but unfolded quickly. "That's about all I could see," Jasmine said. "I just work a couple doors down." Top-notch reporting right there. Heading east, our next story takes us to Southern Virginia, where first responders rescued a truck driver who was hauling explosive materials on Skyline Highway in Grayson County. The crash happened at 6:44 a.m. on Thursday, March 19th, near Forest Lane. According to the Galax Fire Department, GFD, the commercial vehicle had overturned down an embankment. The vehicle was hauling ammonium nitrate and blasting related components. First responders determined the risk was low and proceeded to remove the top of the cab and extract the driver. The injured driver was taken to Twin County Regional Healthcare for treatment. The Virginia Department of Emergency Management and a HazMat cleanup company were called in to oversee and remove the explosive material. The cleanup took 8 hours to complete. The Virginia State Police, Skull Camp Fire and Rescue, Galax Police Department, Twin County E911, Virginia Department of Transportation, Grayson County Emergency Services, Southside Baptist Church, Lineberry Towing, and Burt's Towing assisted. Concluding our top stories this week, we'll end in Lone Star, Texas, where a hazmat team and additional crews joined cleanup efforts following an oil spill at Ellis Creek Reservoir, commonly known as Lone Star Lake, in Morris County. County Judge Doug Reeder issued an update Friday detailing the response efforts, which he said had increased noticeably since drilling fluid containing oil made its way into the lake March 13th. The spill, which officials first said originated at a U.S. Steel well site, shut down the lake and kept state and local authorities working to contain the leak and gauge the impact on wildlife. On Tuesday, Reeder said an initial report from the Texas Railroad Commission determined drilling fluids containing oil from a reserve pit on a pad site for an oil well operated by Rose City Resources flowed into a leaking pipe and into a low-lying area. The report stated fluid then migrated through rock formations and entered Lone Star Lake. Reeder said the coordinates for the entry point were about 32 latitude, -95 longitude. Lone Star Lake may pose health risks until cleanup is complete. The Railroad Commission determined Rose City Resources, a Tyler-based energy company, is responsible for the unpermitted disposal of oil and gas waste. Reeder said the Railroad Commission would oversee the response, and the state agency agreed to provide local officials with daily reports regarding cleanup progress and new information as it becomes available. Reeder said he joined Morris County's Emergency Management Coordinator, inspectors from the Railroad Commission, and a Texas game warden for an on-site inspection of the entire lakeshore. A significant portion of our time was spent on the west, Jenkins side of the lake, particularly in and around the area commonly known as Cook Circle, Reeder said. Based on what we observed today and the last several days, local officials have strongly urged the Railroad Commission, and in turn Rose City Resources, to prioritize and concentrate cleanup efforts in this area moving forward. Reeder said that local officials will continue to work closely with state regulators and the responsible parties to ensure that cleanup efforts are thorough, effective, and address all impacted areas of the lake. Anyone with information regarding affected areas is encouraged to call the Morris County Sheriff's non-emergency number at 903-645-2232. Kind of reminds me of a drill you'd find in one of the nerd books. You'll have to find out which on your own. Get volume 1 and 2 now at thehazmatguys.com. That's going to do it for this week's top hazmat news. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. Timmy, over and out.